everybody, it is Kulipup again, and I just wanted to give you, you know what, I thought I'd just give everybody really my first words to my, from myself to myself, but at the time it was from my spirit guide, which is of course me now, because these are the kinds of conversations I was having during my spiritual development, during my frequency upgrades, during my raises. And these are the kinds of questions I was asking. So literally I'm putting this out here so that you can see what you can learn from it. Maybe you want to ask your spirit the same questions and see what really happens. Okay, so going through, now the last video I did was November 16th, so now this is what I wrote November 17th. How come I feel so sick? So I feel so stomach sick. I was told. The answer: your body is ill due to a virus you picked up while walking, because I walk all the time. And then I'm like, how long will it last? 4 more hours. And I'm like, should I puke? No, that will only help it. Drink water. Plenty of fresh air will help. The body, will help. The body does not like you to be stagnant. So I was like, okay, so I was sick at that point. But anyway, carrying on, next page. Question, this was from me. What is the first time, or what do you mean by this is the first time this is happening to me? Because if we remember, going back to my very, very first bit, this is the first time this has happened to me. This is what, on my very first time writing. So I was just like, what does this mean? And the answer was, what I meant by that is you have never met anyone quite like me before, as your connection has never been this good before. And I asked, when you say bring all of mankind to its knees, do you mean death? Because now I've processed this. Answer, no, I mean in praise. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, what are my strongest abilities? Clairsentience, cognizance, and telepathy. And so I got curious. I'm like, how do I further my telepathy? Answer, you need to stop thinking and turn off the left side of your brain. I was very much so in my ego, which is where the left side of the ego likes to reside. Rigidness, strategics, so forth. I was very much so in my left side of my brain at the time. And I asked, how do I do that? And the answer was, enter into the silence or meditation for 30 minutes or more. Practice this every day. Then the words will come to you and you can send them back. Okay, I'm like, all right. Question then, what about telekinesis? Yes, but that will take much more practice, and it does. It takes a shitload more practice, but I was too lazy to do it. Okay. And then I said, I want to share this info on YouTube. And the answer was, no, it is a waste of time, as people will be skeptical of you. They cannot feel your energy through a camera, and they need to feel your energy to gain truth. This is part of being a telepathic empath. But I was just like, wait a second, that feels like manipulation. My spirit was like, never. It is the feeling of truth, my fractal connecting to theirs, becoming one. So now, don't get me wrong, when I was at this level, my frequency was lower. I didn't have enough personal energy to connect to people through camera. I do now. That's why so many of you watch my videos and you are feeling me. You are feeling my energy. You are feeling my love. So there you go. And then I wrote a question. I feel like a preschool teacher. Answer, yes. And soon you will graduate your class to secondary school. Which, there was a humorous tone, like there was a bit of a giggle in there. And then I asked, how do others have such a strong connection? And the answer was, some do, but most are lost to the matrix through ascension. So, you know, those individuals who, they do not recognize their own divinity. They know they have gifts, they know they have a connection, but they do not know their name. They do not know who they truly are, and they are still in their ego. So they were trapped by ascension as such, because it's when they get into that really deep spirituality, it is very difficult for them to then shift their perspective because they have such a strong connection. And it's really, really difficult. So I was like, ah. Now, then I asked, how many are there like me? You know, people who are able to speak to your spirit like this and who have this. Answer at the time was 117. And I was like, in the world or just my area? Answer, in the world so far. That is why you must guide the new generation of true psychics. And then I was like, wow, but I feel one person at a time is too few and takes energy. Can I hold group classes? And then the answer was yes. Start off small and work your way up. And then I asked, should I still be doing hair? And the answer was yes, to bring in new disciples, but train more staff quickly. And again, question, should I write a lesson plan? Answer, no, just bullet point and I will channel the rest for you. And then I asked, when I am teaching, are we one? Answer, yes, until you go blank or start overthinking my message. Because I would overthink constantly. Or get interference. So, next, my spirit vented a little bit. Because I was just like, well, let me just write. And it was, how can we make light of this tragedy about how all of the people I know cannot see things the way I do? And I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? And answer, just let me vent some more and you will get it. I'm like, okay. Because I want the best for you, I would like to go over some ground rules. Number 1, this is my spirit or myself giving myself ground rules. 1, don't go to the bathroom. I was still feeling a little bit queasy, and I was, at the time, I was getting prepared to go to the bathroom, but it was like, don't go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, okay. 2, have a wonderful day every day. 3, focus on your studies. Going away is not always the answer, because I was really feeling just to get away from everything at the time. 4, stop asking if I'm your subconscious. Because you have to admit, like, me being just with my pendulum getting like answers and stuff, all of a sudden having full-blown freaking conversations, I thought I was crazy almost every single day. Again, I had my issue, my personal purpose was trust, right? And I always found it difficult to trust myself. Rule number 5. This is again my spirit, or me, giving myself ground rules. When I want to talk, please quiet your mind and self. Number 6, make sure that you never distrust me as I am you. Trust in yourself. 7, don't make so much eye contact with people. I always, and this is something I have done, I don't want to try to look at the actual camera here. This is something I have done since I was younger. I would connect with people through their eyes and I would feel them. And that's how I was using my empathy and how I was using my cognizance at the time, but I didn't know it. So whenever I had eye contact with people, I felt them. So I would stare down people. I would literally be like, if you were talking to me, I'd be like, super locked on. And, but I was creating so many ethereal connections. And at the time, because my power wasn't high enough, I was open or vulnerable with these connections to negative entities, or because I didn't recognize who I was at the time, very dangerous entities as well, who would try to come and take my life if they could. So there was this like, stop making so much eye contact with people. 8, have a wonderful day no matter what the circumstances. No matter what the circumstances, I needed to choose to have a wonderful day. 10, don't get me confused with the other. I speak differently. The other was my conscious mind at the time as well. My conscious program, which I didn't understand, and also my subconscious as well. Because I couldn't figure out the difference in frequencies yet. Again, lower in power. So everybody just sounded the same. So my spirit was just like, look, I speak differently. Pay attention to the way I speak. Pay attention to the jargon, the dialect, you know, just how I speak. Just pay attention to that, because it is different. And then I asked, what do you mean by don't go to the bathroom? And because I was just like, I really got to go though. The answer was, just don't go right now. You need to replenish your water first. Because I would have been dehydrated, right? And I'm like, oh, how come you speak in my head? Judy says Source does not speak words to us. And at that point, I was about to write the answer, but I don't have an answer for that. Just because I think something happened, if anything. But to answer you on that one, Source does speak in work. Well, the universal energy speaks in terms of the heart and the mind, and your thoughts and the marrying of your thoughts and minds. But I don't know. I think that was just kind of like a general overview that Judy was casting there. Okay, so the next thing I wrote, or actually, you know what? We will stop it there because the next thing I wrote was actually, I started to get really curious about languages, and I was testing myself too. I wanted to prove to myself that this isn't just information that I'm getting from the deepest parts of my mind that I'm remembering. So next video will come at you with some hieroglyphs that I drew, some languages, and a little bit more about what I was doing there. Okay, bye-bye, sweeties.